A huge weekend in the NFL as the playoffs got underway. What we learned from those who survived and what's ahead for those who were supposed to but didn't. We'll discuss that a whole lot more right now. This is Offside Sports. Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Offside Sports, live from the Loft 100 studios here in Southern California, presented by TurtleBox Audio. You can check out their incredible lineup of portable speakers at turtleboxaudio.com. Of course, thanks to Turf & Sons for the turf we sit upon. Turf & Sons, San Diego's #1 choice for turf installation. Find them at turfandsons.com. All right, panel. Allison Ratzlaff, CJ Stubbs, Dave Palais. Wild card weekend officially in the books as of last night, and we'll kind of work our way backwards. The Houston Texans just curb stomped the Pittsburgh Steelers. And for those of you who may not know this, Mike Tomlin has, what is it, Dave, stepped down?
Yeah, he stepped down.
Stepped down after 19 years as head coach of the Steelers.
I've stepped down many a times.
In my radio career, I've also stepped down. You know, who needs money? And then, you know, did we see last night the last game of Aaron Rodgers' career?
I hope not. I was hoping they'd put him back in the game so he wouldn't end his career with a touchdown pass to the other team.
Right, right.
I mean, it feels like we have, but it's always fun watching him out there.
Oh my God, an incredible talent. But you're right. The way that you go out throwing a pick six. When it was garbage time. Yeah. Were you surprised, though, that Pittsburgh got whooped up on like they did?
No, not with that Texans defense. Not at all. You know, I was talking about this. It seems like the NFL has been such an offensive-driven league for so long, and it feels like defense is back. Some of these teams that are still in it.
They used the phrase defense travels last night during the broadcast. And it's true. You know, quarterbacks, guys, and Allison, we know that quarterbacks, they hate wind. They're okay with rain or snow, but they hate wind. Defenses don't care. They don't care what the temperature is. They don't care who they're playing. When they're good, they're good. And the Texans are light years above everybody else, my opinion, in the NFL this year. So the Steelers are out. Texans are going to move on. You've got the Patriots, and to me this was somewhat a shocker, CJ. The Patriots handled the Chargers at Foxborough, and they absolutely manhandled Justin Herbert. Like, I mean, that guy got the living you-know-what beat out of him.
Yeah, it's a shocker because you look at the body of work throughout the entire season, and you think that they were pretty evenly matched teams. And I mean, 16-3 doesn't feel like as much of a blowout as it really was. But the Chargers just couldn't move the football. They were in the backfield on every single play, and You watch the game, and the Chargers defense really did show up. It's the reason why they were in the game until, I guess, you know, their last two possessions.
For sure. Greg Roman, offensive coordinator, for those of you who don't know either, he has been let go by the Los Angeles Chargers. Dave, you do a Chargers podcast, and were you expecting a different outcome?
I expected Herbert to have more time than he normally has. At the same time, you look at the two organizations and you go, and the Patriots are ahead of schedule of where they thought they'd be, right? Second-year quarterback.
Yep.
They spent some money in free agency, but you have a new coach in Vrabel who obviously stepped in, changed the culture. We talk about that a lot on the show.
Right.
For Jim Harbaugh, who changed the culture a couple years ago for the Chargers. Look, they've had injuries. Every team does. You lose both tackles basically at the start of the season. The offensive line was the worst I've ever seen in the history of the NFL. You have Najee Harris, who shoots his eyeball out with a firecracker in the summer, and then he comes back, and then he blows his Achilles, and then you have Hampton, who misses half the season because he's injured.
Yeah.
Vidal was a guy no one even heard of. He was their main running back there. Keenan Allen needs to go. It's time. Ladd McConkey disappeared in his second year. So, yeah, the Chargers have major problems. But at the same time, I would say you look at that Charger team and you can fix things with the $100 million they have in cap space.
Big time.
And if you go out and spend and you draft right, because Joe Ortiz is a pretty good GM, the Chargers could be back. But this was a wasted year for that team.
It is, and I think about the San Diego Chargers and how they wasted Phillip Rivers' career. And I'm a Raider fan. I don't want to see the Chargers do well, but I have to admit, Justin Herbert is a hell of a quarterback.
He really is.
And I don't want to see an organization waste that type of talent.
But let me ask you real quick on Justin Herbert, because we all see the talent he has, right?
Yeah.
He's an athlete. He's quiet. He doesn't throw a fit the way Aaron Rodgers does. When you look at Justin Herbert and everything he does and he doesn't get angry, is it a detriment not to show that you're upset? I mean,
Get a little more fired up on the sideline.
maybe if that, or even go to the front office and say, I need support here. This offensive line is on you.
Right.
You know? And I said here, the only time you see him in the limelight all of a sudden is Dayton Madison Beer, who's famous.
Yeah.
And I said, here's a guy 0-3 in the postseason, 1 touchdown pass, 5 interceptions. I tell you what, punishment, date Amy Schumer for a year. You win a playoff game, you can start dating Madison Beer again. All right?
I agree so much with what you're saying about how quiet he is. And when you look at some of these younger quarterbacks like Caleb Williams, Drake May, they're very animated. These are second-year guys, animated.
Yep.
Lifting their teams up. Why? And it doesn't seem like, as all these great attributes that Justin Herbert has, it doesn't seem like he has that edge to push and lift his team.
And you got a fiery guy in your head coach, CJ, like Jim Harbaugh. Maybe that's something that he sets him down and says, listen, dude, you're going to have to get a little S in your neck, and you're going to have to chew out some of your teammates. Not to the point where your offensive line says, oh, God, I missed that other block because you're being a jerk. But also you put people on notice that, listen, we need better.
Yeah, at the end of the day, though, you have to be yourself.
Is that too hard to manufacture, you think?
I think you can't fake that, because if you start to fake it, then you lose your locker room.
Yep.
And I think as soon as that happens, then you have bigger problems with your front five. And the scary part is looking at the pregame as the Chargers came out on the field, and you're looking at these PFF grades, and it's second to last, it's third or last. One guy's not even ranked on these PFF ranks, and I'm like, this is going to be a long night for Justin. So I don't necessarily think that, he needs to be someone he isn't.
Yeah.
Because that's when you lose your locker room.
Dave, 49ers, and we'll quickly, 49ers stunned the Eagles in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like that was as big a surprise, but it's a 49ers team that has injuries that they do on defense, and then you lose George Kittle.
Yes.
Blows in an Achilles, done.
Incredible job, right, with that the Niners have gone this far. I mean, the offense has been incredible the entire year. The injuries, as we just said, gave an excuse to the Chargers for the injuries. The 49ers just keep going through. And so maybe the George Kittle's the one that breaks the camel's back, but it's been pretty amazing to see what they had. That on the other side, if you're an Eagles fan, you got to be frustrated, but you saw it coming. You let A.J. Brown dictate this whole thing. And he became a cancer, which all of a sudden it looks like Devontae Smith's becoming a cancer. And so you got to stop it. You just got to get rid of one guy. One guy, CJ, who's still a professional athlete, knows one guy can ruin a locker room.
Well, now the Eagles have fired their offensive coordinator as of just
because obviously it was his fault.
Right. Coaches always
scapegoating.
take the fall.
Right. CJ, the Buffalo Bills, as banged up as Josh Allen was at the end of the game, they come from behind. They hold on to the lead. Brutal interception as the Jaguars are going to try to drive down the field and kick the tying field goal. But are the Bills just running out of guys? They lose a receiver to an ACL injury. Josh Allen's being put together with tape these days.
As long as Josh Allen is out there, they have a chance. I talked about it last week. I actually had the Jags winning this game, but I said, if the Bills win this game, watch out for him. And it's really scary when Josh Allen is out there. He can take control of that game whenever he wants. I mean, there was a tush push that he ran for 9 yards, and they called it a touchdown. They thought he was falling in the end zone, but the guy is huge, and he can throw the rock.
Are you worried about them against that Broncos defense?
I think we're going to watch a good game. I mean, like we were talking about, I think it might be a good game because the Bills are so banged up.
Allison, you're looking at the Bears over the Packers in Chicago, and this, the Bears, Caleb Williams and how he continues to improve as a quarterback is amazing. And then the Panthers, even possibly coming back and shocking the Rams in Carolina. It's a great weekend of football aside from the Pats on Sunday night and what we had last night.
Yeah, those first 4 games were everything you would want in Wild Card Weekend. And sometimes you get it. Last year we didn't get it so much. This year was amazing, and it sort of has gone. It falls into how all season has played.
Yeah.
Where you could just kind of throw a dart, and it's been very unexpected in so many ways.
Something that the late Pete Rozelle always said. He goes, "I just want parity in the NFL, and I want the teams to be able to compete, and I don't want a clear cut." Like the 49ers in Dallas in the 80s, and obviously the Patriots and what they did with Tom Brady, and the Kansas City Chiefs here for a while, and the Eagles as well. I wish we had more teams in the playoff tournament that have not won a Super Bowl yet. I mean, we still have the Bills there who could do it.
Texans.
The Texans as well. But man, great weekend of football, and we're going to blink, and the divisional rounds are here, and they're probably going to be great games as well. All right, switching gears, Miami and Indiana will meet for the Natty coming up on January 19th down in South Florida. We'll look back at the Canes' big win over Ole Miss and Indiana taking Oregon out behind the woodshed. Next as Offside Sports rolls on.